Holy moly,
Hey.
it's time for another edition of Geeks on Trial Sidebar. This is our bonus Patreon show just for you.
Me?
Them.
Oh.
I'd actually prefer it if you would cover your ears and eyes because you don't.
I can't. How do you do? All right.
You're doing good. This is our special bonus show for patrons in which we discuss random topics that are not related to our main podcast, which you already know about. So what am I telling you for? Hit them. Do what you do.
You want me to do the wheel?
You know that you're going to do
I'm gonna spin the wheel. Let's
spin
spin the wheel.
that wheel. Spin that wheel. Spin that wheel. Spin that wheel. Spin it yet?
It's spinning.
You got one?
It's going. Hold on. It's almost there. What game show do you want back that was off the air? A former game show that is no longer on the air that you want back.
What game show
What game show?
that is no longer on the air
What game show that is no longer on the air
do I want back?
do you want back on the air? Or I guess I was streaming because air doesn't exist anymore.
Not if you move to space, it doesn't.
Well, that's a different video.
That's a callback
Oh, well, it depends on the order.
to 4 weeks ago.
For me, I'm going to go first for you.
Yeah, because it
One
sounds
for
like,
me.
did you come up with this one?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Some of these were old. Some of them, I've written these a long time ago.
I don't know that I have an answer, so what's your answer?
Mine would have to be something from the Nickelodeon days
Oh.
that would be something that I would want brought back and modernized, which would be a lot easier to do now than it was ever back then. A little show called Nick Arcade.
Oh, not where I thought you were going to say.
No, not the one. Well, you can take that one. But Nick Arcade. So back in the day, Nick Arcade, if you don't know, was a show where you went on and you played video games that were popular at the time. You started answering questions. You went back and forth. Usually questions that weren't related to video games at all. It's just like, like history questions or general kids questions. And then you moved on to the next section where you played video games in an arcade style setting in some studio in Orlando, Florida, Nickelodeon. Then, if you won that, you got to go into a green screen room and play a really poorly made video game where you had to hit the start button. Oh, it didn't register. Hit the start button again. Oh, it still didn't register. But then, I guess the most important part was when you're answering these questions, you got to move a little guy named Mikey.
That's right. He moved around a little
grid?
zone. Yeah,
Little
grid.
grid board, and oftentimes he would go left, and Mikey can't go left. Bum 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 bum.
Or right. I think right was the main.
Was the right one?
Yeah, it was Mikey can't go right. It was the
No, I
clip.
fucked up.
But the best part about the green screen part was watching it at home. You're like, man, these kids all suck at these games, but it's because they were looking at a screen while trying to match their movements to it, and this is not even. That would be hard today, but this was in the 90s.
Where they were probably watching a little CRT, 9-inch black and white TV.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the background, it was green screen stairs and stuff that you would climb, but you wouldn't see what was going on, so you'd have to hit buttons and stuff like that. My partner, Danny, he came close to being on that show back in the 90s, but didn't make it because he was too young.
That's sad.
Too young. But he played the games in the room because it was an open place you can go into when you went to the park.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you're bringing this show back, what's different about it? What's new and improved?
Technology.
Okay.
You would probably throw in some VR stuff in there. You would, the back room with the green screen. At this point, just surround them with monitors.
Yeah, right.
It would just be projection
The volume.
screens. It would be you can almost do the floor is lava kind of situation.
Another good
build
game show.
things and but have it video game themes and stuff like that, or updated, or even do classic video games still.
Yeah, I was like, are they going to be playing?
Still doing the Sonic level, because it was always stupid video games where it's you have to get 25 rings from Sonic's realm, and it was
right. You need some kind of a quick gimmick,
right?
That's not play from start to finish this Uncharted level or something. It's
go through the Mario level and hit 12 blocks or something stupid like that. But that would be a fun, that could be another a Paramount Plus kind of thing that you can bring back, and it would be easier now and just more entertaining because A, it's a throwback. B, it's we have the VR and video games have gone so much more
They have gone more, haven't
They
they?
have gone more. Also, my throat is going.
I can hear it. I can hear it. It doesn't
It's fine.
bode well for future episodes. Yeah, I mean that's a good thing for. It would be good for video game publishers and developers too. It could be fun if they knew ahead of time and they came up with sort of a. Like they designed their own exclusive kind of
Right.
chunk from an upcoming game,
Well, and plus too, like Nickelodeon now has their own game studio. So
like video game studio.
yeah.
Do they?
So
No.
they do the kart racing and they do the
Right.
So like they can even introduce their own, like make their own game for it, because I'm pretty sure,
Sure.
the end game was just some kind of crappy, just random
Yeah.
8-bit stuff.
Yeah, I think that's right. Was it ever? There was never like Sonic or something.
It was always, it could have been stuff. Oh, the arcade games were Sonic,
Right. I don't know.
but the back room game, that sounds wrong in so many ways. Come on, kids, let's go play some back room games. Was always like, get the wizard's wand. That's awful too.
So I
I'm not even
couldn't
trying.
think of an answer to this question initially. I mean, Nickelodeon. I wasn't thinking about kids game shows. I was thinking about like the classic game shows. But yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temples was what I
Right.
thought you were gonna say.
That would be fun.
That seems like a show that should be brought back, but it should be for adults.
Well, do you know the game like Wipeout or stuff like that? Do like
Yeah, right.
Because there's a channel on Pluto, which is like a streaming service for TV, that shows old Legends of Hidden Temple, and it was
It's on
kind of.
Paramount Plus too, I think.
Is it?
A
Must
a
make
lot of
sense.
those
It's
game
owned by-
shows are on there. Yeah.
It seems kind of dangerous for kids. It was like climb these sharp. Oh, you're not going to be tied in. You're going to have a helmet. Good luck.
Well, it was also, if people don't remember, that show was none of the kids ever won. It was impossible.
Do you know the reason behind that?
Well, because it was impossible to win.
I was reading that online. They made it impossible because they only had 8 sponsors that gave away prizes. So it's like for a season, they only wanted 8 people to win. And this is like fact. That's why like
How
some
many
of these
episodes did
questions-
they have?
Probably like 50 a year.
God, yeah, right.
So they didn't want you to win because they had to pay for that. Like that's just the weird shit that you don't really like. When we're kids, it's like, oh, they must really suck. No, they designed it like because that was the game show where like the guys came out and like
the
kidnapped.
temple guards would grab
So
you,
they
which
controlled that.
always I thought was so
Oh,
scary.
super creepy and
Because
like.
it's just an adult man like hiding in the shadows just comes out and grabs the
The one
kid.
I watched the other night, he was like in a ball pit and just came out and just grabbed a child. I'm like, that you can't do that today.
But then it was always assembling the silver monkey statue.
I swear
that
to
was
you,
where they screwed up every
did
time.
that on purpose. They
Yeah,
screwed that up.
because it looked impossible, and you don't think about there's people screaming at you. You have a time limit. Like there's so much
TV
You've never
lights.
gone in there before.
Right.
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. It's insane to think about it. They Figure It Out. That's a fun show.
That is another fun one. That's a basic one.
We're just talking about Nickelodeon shows now.
Now, is there any, because are you a game show watcher? Were you a game show watcher when game shows were like big?
Right, I don't have cable, so it's not something
It's
I'm
rare that they're
seeking
on
out.
now, besides like The Price is Right, which has been on for like 50 years.
Well,
or
I'm
some shit.
I'm a big Jeopardy fan. I
Okay.
still will watch Jeopardy.
That's still on.
Yeah, and sometimes, but again, I don't have cable. Sometimes they'll put their tournaments and stuff on Hulu or Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
That's where I'll watch the celebrity tournaments happening right now.
We've been watching the
A long
old,
time ago it happened.
the old 2004 Hollywood Squares. That would be another cool one to bring back because it's different
That
celebrities.
can be fun.
In things, or they tried to bring it back with Alec Baldwin. The it was a '70s show, The Match Game.
Oh, right.
That's always fun. Anything where it brings celebrities out to try to answer questions or like match with like a non-celebrity is an amazing thing because it's like back the old ones, these celebrities would get shit-faced drunk
yeah.
and like try or like start like just walking around a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of like very inappropriate backstage manner, but like those were fun.
No, it's fine. How about my favorite inappropriate is Family Feud.
Family Feud. That's still on.
But yeah, I like the Richard. I like when he kissed the ladies.
I'm gonna make a hot take here. I don't like Steve Harvey
I think I'm okay with that.
because like he's very much so like it's about him.
Well, it's now become just the meme
Yep.
they're trying to make viral TikToks where he like is. This is every Steve Harvey Family Feud is name something that a man has that he wants to put in a woman.
Right.
And
right.
they're like,
Oh,
well, penis? What did you say? It's like, what the hell
Right.
else were they going to answer that question?
But it won't be like or like up on the border it'll be like trouser snake, like or like something stupid like that, and it's like
that annoys me.
there was one that we were
annoys
watching
me.
the other day where it's like name something you put in the backseat of your car, and it's like there was something like really offensive, and it's
A
like
corpse.
or like stains, and Steve Harvey's like stains, like they make it overly sexual because that's what gets the views.
Yeah, bring
Well,
Al Borland back.
He did a good one.
What's his real name?
Richard Kind,
No. Richard something like that.
Who's
Richard
Richard
Kind is a different guy.
right? But like who?
I don't know. I know he's a different guy.
It's a show we can bring out our phones.
This is again the content you're paying for, everybody. Richard, it's like Karn.
Oh, Richard Kind is from Spin City.
Okay. Yeah, Richard Karn is from Home Improvement. Oh, yes, Richard Kind. He's on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Is he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
But what other like Pressure Luck with the Whammy? That was always a good show.
Yeah, it's okay.
Any of the the ones from back in
Pyramid,
the day, Pyramid,
or like Password, kind of the same
But yeah,
show.
I guess you're right. A lot of Nickelodeon shows.
Well, because most game shows don't end. That's the
Right.
thing. The only ones I can think of that ended that anyone liked are the Nickelodeon shows. Like, I know there were some like really, I don't know, like Card Sharks.
Right.
That sucks.
But a lot of those ended and then went to Game Show Network. Like they got their own cable network and they made new shows there.
Right.
But like,
what about The Weakest Link or
oh yeah,
do you remember Friend or Foe?
that was an interesting show.
How about this one?
Hmm.
Oh, it was on Comedy Central. It was called Geek something. Test or Beat the Geek. That's what it was. You
No,
remember that
No,
show?
no.
It was on Comedy
Was it
Central.
like when we were younger?
Yeah, like teenagers or something. And it was like trivia, but there would be one guy who was like, I'm the South Park expert, it's Comedy Central stuff. But every week, or like, I'm the Nintendo expert,
Right.
whatever. And they had to like challenge the geek.
Oh, and beat his knowledge kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't think it was that good, but I remember it.
Well, another one from Comedy Central, Win Ben Stein's Money. That was such a weird concept.
That was a good show
And
before.
his,
Now I know more about Ben Stein
Well,
than I needed to.
yeah, because like, and his announcer was Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel was not. He was more like the sidekick. Like
Well,
he was
yeah.
on. Yeah, like he was part of the show. Which
He probably was more entertaining than creepy Ben Stein.
Yeah. I mean, Price is Right. You mentioned, but yeah, most of the game shows that I really like still kind of exist. It's really
Because a game show, well, with this writer strike that we had, they don't need writers
yeah.
technically. They don't need it's a skeleton
Although I
crew.
think, if I recall correctly, Jeopardy, I think they reused old clues. They didn't write new clues.
Which
during
with
that
shows
time.
like Jeopardy
It
and
literally
like Wheel
has
of Fortune,
8,000 episodes.
you can just like think about Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah,
There's
I always
recycle.
do.
That was on Netflix too for a while, and I'm like, watching more than 2 episodes doesn't work.
Wheel of Fortune, and look, this is my most elitist snob take, but it's on like either right before or after Jeopardy, and it feels like, well, okay, now the show for dumb people's on. It feels like questions like about history and geography, and then it's like,
Right.
can you spell?
Right.
And I'm like, all right, so it's okay, it can be fun.
For us, it was always like while we were eating dinner show.
Yeah,
So it was like on in the
yeah,
background.
like it's
Now,
it's okay.
There's a few we were watching. There's another game show network called Buzzer,
I don't know that one.
and it's like I think it's on Pluto or whatever. They have another spelling one where it's just called crossword puzzle, and you have to like do crossword puzzles.
Oh, what was the show? Lingo?
That was an interesting one where it's like you get like certain letters.
Yeah.
There's There's a lot of like takes
So many
on
of those.
Scrabble.
How about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Is that still on?
I don't think it's still on here, but I think it's still on in the UK.
I don't, because for a while they had different hosts, but it was Philbin was the guy.
Who
That
was
show,
the one who took? It was a female who took over after Regis.
No clue. Not gonna get it out of me. Was it Kathy Lee?
Meredith Vieira took over after.
Who I've
She was
never
the host of the Today Show
Okay.
at one point, so she'd take over, and she does game shows now too. But yeah,
could have made up a name. I don't know.
but yeah, those are like because game shows are timeless. Game shows were always summer replacements, And when I wasn't watching like Nick at Night, I was watching old game shows. Another great one was it was Groucho hosted.
Oh, You Bet Your Life.
You Bet Your Life. That was something that you can bring back.
But you need, like, that show worked because of Groucho.
You need a lot of these
gotta have
need
somebody-
a solid host.
Yeah.
Like I like Hollywood Squares because Tom Bergeron is a really good host.
Say that again?
Tom Bergeron.
Okay. Sounds, no, just like
Tom Bergeron.
just sounds like it's hard to say.
Tom Bergeron.
I mean, Mark Summers, Double Dare, and What Would You Do? What would you do?
I don't remember What Would You Do.
What would you do? It was like,
Was that Nickelodeon show?
yeah, it was a big arena, and it was just they'd go out to people in the audience, and it was just like a kind of a
Double
version
Dare.
of Double Dare.
Now there's something interesting I learned because
They got pies in the face a lot.
there's a YouTube channel called Knickknacks or Pop Arena. They do a history of Nickelodeon since the beginning of 1979. You can find them on YouTube somewhere. And they were talking about when they moved their studios to Orlando, Florida. So usually you go and you get to see a game show for free, and that's the thing of it. You
Yeah.
had to pay for tickets to
Hey,
the
man.
theme park. So you waited
Right.
in line. That was your ride. Was a 2-hour game show that you sat in a freaking TV studio for.
It was the dream back then.
That's insane. Now, do you know why they went to Orlando to film all these shows? No unions in Florida.
Thanks for watching, folks. Let us know in the comments what your favorite game shows are and which ones that are no longer on the air you think should make a comeback. We'd be interested to hear about that. I bet there's some that we missed. Perhaps you're a big Beat the Geeks fan.
Ooh.
Talk to you next time. Thanks for checking us out, and thanks for supporting the show.